57 possible points in away games against the Sky Sports top six under David Moyes' reign, West Ham have only taken 2 points out of a possible 57 points against the big boys. Tottenham, it kills me to say that. The Sky Sports top six, Tottenham, I can't believe it came out my mouth first. Tottenham, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, all those teams. We're so negative, and I'll tell you what, it's really difficult, I think, after watching a game like that against Liverpool, because realistically, I know the broader context of it is actually a 1-0 loss away to Anfield ain't too bad. To make that argument, though, I think you have to bung in a load of cliches. So is one, when we look back at the end of the season, we might consider that a 1-0 loss at Anfield isn't too bad. Lots of other teams will go to Anfield and get dumped this season. All of that is true, of course. But what it does, when you make that argument, it strips away all the fine detail and all the context of actually what happened. And here's the sort of stuff it rips it out. We weren't playing vintage Liverpool with, I don't know, Mane, Firmino and Salah all at their best. Well, Mane wasn't even there, for goodness sake. I thought 1 or 2 Liverpool players were playing really well, and I would say Núñez would be Núñez and Van Dijk, and that was it for me. I think even the goalkeeper was shaky, by the way. He passed the ball almost straight away early on, and Declan Rice intercepted it. We could and possibly should have been 1-0 up really, really early in that game. All right, so that's the thing. If you start using these cliches, you start saying, "Oh well, we actually didn't do too bad." You take out you basically ignore the fine print and the small detail, which is really important in this. So should I be disappointed? Possibly not. Am I? Yeah, I am. Again, there's a fine line between saying Liverpool were there for the taking, which I don't think they were, but I also don't think it was the worst time to play Liverpool. I think we could have got something out of that game. I really do. If we'd have just shown a little bit more ambition. I'm not a massive one for stats, but those stats don't lie in basically away games against the perceived big clubs and Tottenham. There you go. I just wish we'd throw a little bit more ambition at it. I don't overly want to dig out players, but at the same time, this is a West Ham channel, and we've got to discuss individuals. I was discussing how the team has played. The problem with 4-0s, and I want to talk about 4-0s here, is as I said, if you watched the review, I sort of stumbled. The build-up show. I stumbled across a new position for him, which is a holding wide player. Right? What I'm saying is, I'm damning him by faint praise. I'm basically saying he's a tackler, he's a workhorse, he's a defender now. All right, he's not an attacker. He's not that same guy that when we bought him for 23 million from Villarreal or wherever it was, and he was playing for Spain's under-21 team. He's not that attacking left-sided player. He's just not that guy anymore. And the trouble is with 4-0s, who had a stinky old game, all right? And I love him, and I want to stay at West Ham for a long, long time. I want 4-0s to play lots of games. I think what the terrible thing is he ends up playing invariably in these sort of games against the big teams. So it makes him look even worse. He really struggles because all these big teams are very sharp players, really sharp players. And when they're busy and getting around him, he looks ponderous and he looks like he's lacking technique. And it's not great. He basically thwarts our attack. And we're saying, do you know what? We are not, unless it's Cresswell, we are not going to attack down that left-hand side. And do you know what? In this instance, in this game, Cresswell couldn't do that attacking down that left-hand side. Why? Because, the first half at least, we had Salah down there. We had Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold down there. I just feel as if something else had happened. Well, Benrahma, for a start, would have been much better. Even if Cornet had been fit, maybe Cornet there. Just automatically, you're given an invitation. You're basically saying to whoever you play, the winger and the fullback, just attack us and attack us now. Now, as I say, I'm not saying there's no room for 4-0s in the squad, or, absolutely not. Look, Paqueta's out at the moment, right? We don't know how long he's going to be out for. There will be times and teams when 4-0s should play. We've got massive fixture congestion, but play him in the middle, do something different, don't. Play him as literally central midfield, I don't have a problem with it. Play him there, deploy him there. It will be fine, but not in an attacking position. You're literally taking up an attacking space in the team. And I tell you what, it was so frustrating to watch Gianluca Scamacca become frustrated. I mean, that was a real bit of annoyance for me. This video is sponsored by the Spitch Fantasy Football app. There's many reasons to like Spitch. I'll give you a couple of them right now. Number one, it allows you to be Roman Abramovich. If what you want to do is have a right old spend up on your fantasy football team, if you want Haaland, if you want De Bruyne, if you want Salah, if you want everyone in your team, it doesn't matter. You can do that and pick whatever team you want without the sort of restrictions, which you get quite a lot in fantasy football games, don't you? The other thing I don't like about normal fantasy football games is that if you've started the season badly, you can never claw it back, can you? Your mates have gone in the distance. I don't know about you, I lose interest. I bin it off. Spitch Fantasy Football app isn't like that. It starts fresh with each and every game week. You literally get a clean slate, and each and every game week there are a bundle of cash prizes, up to £70,000 worth of cash prizes. There's a pay-to-play game, which you can check out. Gio won money on that last week. There is a free-to-play game where you can still win cash prizes, or there's, let's call it a fun-to-play game where you can join myself and Gio on a Hammers Chat mini league. We've got over 350 participants in that at the moment, so please do check it out. Use the link below, and please do remember that it is for 18 years and above only, because there is a gambling element. Back to the game, and I've got to say, towards the end of the game, I was thinking we might not win this, we might be able to get back into it. I thought that was a fair assumption. We had a little bit more pressure from them, but rather than me being sort of warmed by the fact that we'd grown into the game, I actually found that it made me more annoyed that we hadn't gone for it and we hadn't shown more ambition at the start of the game. But just have a look at this substitution. I think I've written it down here. When was the So the substitution was on 63 minutes. I mean, it just wasn't good enough. It's just too slow. When I say the substitution, it's Benrahma for Fornells, because as I said before, I do think that was the telling moment. That was the moment where we as a team said, you know what, we are going to put another attacker onto the pitch. We're going to... It's not even like fully go for it. It's not like Kevin Keegan's Newcastle go for it. It's just one less defender on there. And my word, we had a lot of defenders on there. To be fair, I think we needed a lot of defenders. I think at the start of the game, Keira was shaky again. I think he grew into the game, by the way. I do think he grew into the game. And I think Zuma we needed Zuma. It wasn't a fit Zuma. You could see that he was still carrying an injury. There was still a bit of a limp going on there, but my word, we needed him back. I do wonder, and I couldn't help but think, when Nunes scored that goal, when he drifted in between the two central defenders, Nunes scored that goal. I don't know what you thought. I think he ain't scoring that if Dawson's in the team. I'm not saying they wouldn't score. I'm not saying he's not a very good player. I think he's an excellent player. You can understand why David Moyes was interested in Darwin Nunes. You can also understand why he cost 85 million. It's so hard because everyone sort of gets compared to Erling Haaland now, don't they? Liverpool ain't got a bad forward there at all, let's be perfectly honest. However, as good as he is, I'm still thinking Dawson gets that. That's my thoughts on it anyway. You might disagree. But we missed Dawson. But I tell you what, David Moyes thought he'd counter it by playing three defensive midfielders in there. I just don't... Okay, which is fine. But after 20 minutes, those tactics are gone. We were 1-0 down at that point. And I guess David Moyes would argue, well, hold on a second, I still kept it tight. We were still coming near the end of the game, only 1-0 down, and we had a chance of getting something from the game. But at the end of the day, just going back to the start of the video, the stats don't lie, do they? You can only say that so many times. But actually, you look at the stats, out of 57 points we could have won in away games, it's the big clubs. We've only got 2. It doesn't matter about nearly. We've heard nearly so many times from him. At some point, you've actually got to go out there and do it. You've actually got to go out there and win it. And I don't know this... football... They say football's a game of opinions. It's not. It's really clear. It's a game of goals and goals conceded and points. That's what it is. And 2 points out of 57 is really quite telling. It doesn't matter that we got a penalty and Jared Bowen missed a penalty. It doesn't really matter Antonio picked Scamacca out at the end and he blazed over. It doesn't matter that Souček had a chance in front of goal. It doesn't matter that Benrahma had a chance in front of goal. You can only keep saying that for so long. It doesn't matter that Cornet had a goal disallowed against Chelsea. You keep saying these things, but you end up saying them over years and years and years. And basically, out of all those games, we got 2 draws, and it's not good enough. And that's the context. That's the detail of it. as I say, I know there'll be people say, oh, calm down, mate. A 1-0 loss at Anfield's all right. But as I say, that strips out, that's basically a way not to argue. That's a way not to debate it. Because there it is, and there must be one combining factor to all those games. And I just think it's a lack of ambition. I think it's a lack of going for it. I think we go for it when it's too late. And Klopp felt so comfortable. I thought Klopp made an error. It's not often that the big clubs with their managers make errors. I thought he made an error. I thought by him taking Núñez off and doing the changes that he did, I thought he was really cocky. I thought there was an opportunity there. I was thinking, okay, right, we can do something here. But we didn't. We didn't really fully commit to it. I thought leaving Souček on was the wrong thing. I don't think Souček had a horrendous game, by the way. I haven't got too many bad things to say about Souček. He did his job and he was functional in there as one of 3 defensive midfielders. But at a point when you change the game, you don't need bloody 3 defensive midfielders. Okay, yes, he took Downs off. Great, I understand that. And he brought Antonio on. But that was quite late. I wrote that down. That was it was 73 minutes or something like that, I think. Pretty late in the game, really, to be doing something like that. And by that point, Scamacca's head's dipped. He's gone. Look, he's a bit moody. I've said it before, and I think we'll say it again. I really like him, and I'm delighted to have him. I think he's a good player, right? I think he'll score lots of goals for us. But he ain't going to do it all the time, because sometimes, if his mood goes, that's it. He's going to lose interest. And before anyone complains about that, let's just get things right, okay? The striker we couldn't get would cost 85 million. We can't afford the 85 million pound striker. Even when he was 65 million, we couldn't afford him. He ends up going for 85 million. We can't afford that. We can afford 35 million, which, funny enough, is pretty much what we bid for Breuer as well, and Scamacca there. You're not getting everything you want, and just sometimes there's going to be a few histrionics. There's going to be some toys being thrown out of the pram, particularly when he feels he's not being supported. And look, ideally you want everyone with that excellent sort of winner's mentality and winner's attitude 100% of the time. But in many respects, I sort of understand why he'd be frustrated ploughing the lonely furrow up front. I get it. I think that would annoy me. I think it would annoy. Forget about football. Just forget about almost any job when you're asked to do the job of lots of people, and you're not getting the support from your workmates or your boss or whatever the case may be, and then you're being asked at the end, hold on, how come you didn't deliver? You're going to get a bit knocked off. I'll get a bit knocked off, basically. I just think it's human nature. Look, all in all, I'm just having a little vent now. I think I was just frustrated. I'm gonna leave you to it. I'm just a little bit frustrated. I think it was a bit of an opportunity lost. Not there for the taking, Liverpool, but an opportunity lost. Anyway, there we go. I don't think it's doom and gloom. It's funny, you look at a lot of the, particularly a lot of the post-match reaction. I've got to say, there's, I don't include 95% of it. A lot of the people in the post-match reaction are still having a laugh at the Christmas jumper and the reasonably sized merch and all the stuff. Basically little in-jokes that if you're a regular watcher of Hammers Chat, we all hopefully enjoy with each other. And most people assess the game in a sort of reasonable way. But obviously there's some people after a defeat who are very, very angry. And that's why I sort of like doing these videos, which we released the day before, because the comments are just a little bit more balanced. But it's also, you've got to remember, I'm recording this on the night of the game as well, so I'm a little bit more het up now. I'm just slightly disappointed. But my tenuous, elongated point was that, we lose a game and you get Moyes out and Moyes is finished and all the rest of it. I don't think he is. I don't think the tactics were horrendous today. I thought the tactics and the shape were okay. Where he got it wrong was the ambition to have more attackers on the pitch at the point the game wasn't going well, and at the point and to not recognise. The moment you take Paqueta out there, you're already a sort of one creative genius short, right? But to recognise the guy who was most likely to get West Ham the goals against Liverpool, it was Scamacca. So what are we going to do? Well, we're not going to supply him. Not from the middle, because there are a load of attacking midfielders in the middle, and not from wide, because basically nobody out there can cross the ball. I just think it's an opportunity lost for David Moyes. I think he'll take lots of crumbs of comfort. I say lots of crumbs. So many crumbs of comfort will David Moyes take from that, and he'll be able to make a loaf of bread. Honestly, you just know he's going to be, we almost did that, we almost did that. We were very close to winning. I've not listened to the press conference. I can hear it now. Not many people come to Anfield and get anything. All those cliches. A lot of them are probably right, but as I said at the start of the video, it strips out the fine detail. And 2 points out of 57 do not tell a lie.